So we are back and streaming live, and today we are in the 21st of March, 1620, sharp 1621. Just change the time and I'm getting back to you. So we are broadcasting live as always from the best station in the nation, online from Belarus, the capital of the Republic of Belarus, city of Minsk. And I'm Denis Dobrovolsky. This is the International Unselfish Center of the Goodwill. And as was announced earlier, this week we are having an English week. And next week, accordingly, will be La Semana Española. I will perform in Spanish. So today we are having Saturday the 21st of March, as was said, 1621. And we are keeping on with our questionnaire. I finished out of my own 200, being 100 of mini and 100 of maxi section from my mini and maxi block or item of the menu of the site center-dobro.com. We finished 100 on Tuesday and on Friday, which was yesterday. So today I will finish up another 50. It will be first 50 out of 100 from maxi section, and then tomorrow on Sunday, we will approach and finish up all 200 questions, meaning the last 50 questions from the maxi block of the main menu item, mini maxi 2 questionnaire. I remind all of you that the main slogan and the main approach that we are using within all the conversations, future conversations of all the sessions, future sessions, within the project named by me, the International Unselfish Center of the Goodwill, is placed in the middle of the page with a smile, flowered smile, and it states, you bring in a question, we discuss it together. If you have any question that you already discussed with all the related people, your close ones, those whom you trust, some deep professional specialists in those fields, and you still would like to ponder it, to consider it, to hash it out, and discuss with somebody weird, abnormal, not very adequate, unusual, and certainly not a professional, but an involved amateur or a person who likes to talk, this is me, then please come over. You will be my honored guest, and I will be very happy, and with great pleasure I will meet you, welcome you in this studio. In this studio of the International Unselfish Center of the Goodwill. Daily we have 3 sessions, which is mentioned at the site, at the online sessions booking timetable block. We have 1 session from 3:30 to 5 online, from 5 to 6:30 online, and from 6:30 to 8 p.m. All time is Minsk, Belarus time. At the moment we coincide with Moscow, so you can consider also Moscow time as well. And now we are passing to the block 2 questionnaires and jumping in the subject. As I mentioned before, in Russian, in Spanish, also in my explanatory videos filmed and shot in February, there are 2 blocks. Block Mini, it contains 100 questions sharp, which are a bunch of personalized, idiosyncratic, going deep into your brain, mind and soul questions that were created by myself during last 20 months, almost 21 months, within the 21 months, of my own considerations within myself, what should be better, what should be interesting for me to be asked from my visitors. And likewise, I decided that myself, better I should respond on those questions first. And then you have 100 questions from the block MAXI. And they are more peculiar, more particular, more dark, more devilish to some extent, more strange to some extent, and definitely more weird. And now we are going into them. Some of them you can call them philosophical, some of them you can call them psychological, some of them you can call questions of absolutely crazy person. Who could ask such questions? And the answer is in front of you. Mr. Denis Dobrovolsky, and he will try right now to outperform for you and have my own answers, my own sincere, open and clear to some extent answers on those first 50 out of last 100 questions from the block MAXI. And now jumping in. So we are still live. I'm checking here and there, are we live and am I broadcasting the proper screen? We have 4 monitors plus the monitor of the computer, which is 5, so in total I have to track 5 monitors being alone in this studio parallelly, and I like it. Do you know what your life's goal is? No. Second one, do you often cautiously think about death and the possibility of its sudden onset whenever it happens? Yes. Do you see it? Yeah. Do you often, do you think your attitude to the sense of life and life itself is based on your attitude to death? Rest, understanding its rather imminent inevitability? Yes. Do you think about your health more than once a day, about any subject related to your health? Yes, definitely. Are you against abortion? No. Are you against euthanasia? No. Is the physical beauty factor of your chosen one not that important to you, but the crucial thing is that he or she loved you and took care of you? No. The physical factor, for me, at least yet, as yet, is important also. But if you would measure and value what is more precious to you, the physical ability or the thing that you are loved indeed and you are properly taken care of, willingly, definitely I would choose this one, if you have to choose. But if you can combine both, yes, this part is also important to Mr. Denis Dobrovolsky. And thank you. Do you drink alcohol more often than every other day? Let me think. Yes, I drink alcohol more often than every other day. I drink it almost without exclusions every single day. Do you drink more than 2 glasses of wine or equivalent per evening? Usually this is my dosage, but yesterday I had a friend at 7 p.m. and yes, we finished up 3 bottles of wine, 2 of them being very nice Tempranillo, Spanish one, it was one Valdepeñas and another region from La Mancha, and the third one was year 2004 production Porto wine. So it was finished up, and today I will have workout. I feel perfectly, and you see from my appearance and my joyful mood that I am not apathic and not dying. 3 bottles, 2 people, 0.75 each bottle. So yes, 1 liter I finished up yesterday. It was a necessary explanation, but usually every evening I finish around 2 glasses, but my glass is 250 grams, it is not 100 grams. I have big glasses, crystal glasses, and I put exactly around 250. So I finish half a liter of wine or equivalent of other stiff drinks, we call them hot drinks, every given evening, not every given Sunday as in the movie with Al Pacino, but every given evening. Going ahead, it was important for me to tell about wine because I'm practicing 4 times a week, very hard workout, and combining it with drinking every evening, and sometimes, as yesterday, 1 liter per evening. And my organism yet is being able to digest and excretory glands would move it out, including my liver and my kidneys. I still have 2 kidneys. Not all of us have 2. Can you afford to have vacations 2 times a year and or more, even if briefly or in your own country? Yes, I can. Do you dislike or neglect people who smell like sweat in public transport or in a working environment, whether in hot weather or when a person's endocrine glands function this way and hormones are actively being produced, I think, are actively being produced? Do you neglect people? No, I don't. Let them smell like sweat. What's wrong with smelling like sweat? Some people smell like garbage, some people smell like very bad perfume, very cheap, ugly perfume. So better to smell like sweat. If you have a spouse, do you consider him or her your real soul mate, without which you really are not a whole unit on your own? No, why? Everybody is whole unit, God-given whole unit by his or her own. And it's nice to have a soulmate, but to be huffed by this person, not fair, not nice. Does it annoy you when the people around you behave differently than you would behave in the same situation? No, definitely not. Everybody does his own game, plays his own game, and we should not judge people by our own standards. This is the correct word. Do you practice regular meditation sessions, autogenic training? No, never. Actually, I think it's very healthy, very helpful, very nice, but I never practiced it yet. I have some other ways of including relaxation, some other ways of reflection is correct word, and digging inside myself, but it is not a typical meditation. No. Does your work occupy more than 50% of your thoughts and attention? In general, if we consider right now I'm working, then yes. Everything which I do on purpose, which I do not lazily, which I do with the effort over myself, and for which I am getting ready, getting prepared, morally, physically, bringing some attributes. If we consider this being a work, then yes, more than 50%. Do you live more than 50% of your day for your own pleasure? I do think so. I love my work. I'm making a reference to the previous question. So I work and work occupies more than 50% of my thoughts, and I live more than 50% of my day with pleasure, meaning my work is to some extent bringing me pleasure. Do you have nightmares at night? I used to mention it in Russian appeal and in Russian answers of the questions. I do, like between once in a month or once in 2 months, I think closer to once per month, I'm having some nightmares or bad dreams at night that makes me awaken, makes me wake up, and then I easily go back to sleep after having luckily understood that it was just a temporary nightmare or a bad dream. But I do have. Do you ever have dreams at night at all? Or at least do you ever remember them? I do have very picturesque, explicit, bright dreams every night without exclusion. I do remember some of them if I wake up promptly. Sometimes I just remember that I had something very bright, but I don't remember the plot or the scenery of the dream. But I do have them every single night. And usually, when I could have noticed the parts of the night, I have sometimes like serials belonging to different movies at one night. It can start with one series, and it will jump to another prolonged filler, let's call it, and then some reminiscence, or it will be a retrospective from the previous night, and it will be block by block, scenery by scenery from different movies. It's like continuation.